this player in particular has been kind of in the midst of several teams being involved in potentially acquiring him. And honestly, it's most likely that this team I'm going to be talking about is the front runner because how desperately they need star talent up in front or in the middle. So let's talk about the New York Islanders potentially making a big move for Josh Anderson of the Montreal Canadiens after what was pretty much a dismal last season for this team. They were just 2 years ago in the Eastern Conference Final, losing to Tampa in 6 and then in 7. And the year after that, they just completely crashed. They just fell to the bottom of the NHL standings, and they're now trying to find their ways out and climb back to the top. But it's most likely going to result in a rebuild. And I think trading for Josh Anderson, who's apparently available, could be the first move to get there. So let's get right into it. And one big part of this specific rumor that the Islanders are potentially going to have to give up to acquire Anderson might be that 13th overall pick that they have in this year's entry draft. And while the Islanders could move the pick for a proven veteran, this move could backfire, especially since they need to refuel their farm system, which is easily one of the worst in the league itself. And the trade would notably benefit the Canadiens more than the Islanders because the Canadiens are a team who are not only looking to rebuild, but would suddenly have 3 first-round draft picks to accelerate the process, and the Islanders would be stuck with nothing. And it would be one of the things for the Islanders to acquire an elite talent for the 13th overall pick. Even if they had to include a roster player in their deal, it would be worth it to acquire Jacob Chikrin, Patrick Kane, or JT Miller at the same value. And while Anderson isn't a rental like Kane or Miller after signing a 7-year deal in 2020, he isn't of the same caliber either. While the 28-year-old would give the Islanders control over the player, the team should avoid mortgaging the pick. Instead, the Islanders in all likelihood would acquire Anderson in a 1-for-1 deal, and that might mean saying goodbye to Anthony Beauvillier because he would fit in right with the Canadiens and as a 25-year-old player be part of the young core they are rebuilding around. But ideally, Beauvillier remains with the Islanders next season, especially since he's a great skater and puck handler on the wing. He's very underrated as well, and he took a step back last season, failing to find an offensive role, but he might benefit from a new setting if this trade actually goes through. And ultimately, the Islanders will look for a different fit for their forward unit, especially if they could acquire Anderson and his skill set. A reason the Islanders would pump the brakes on an offer for Anderson is that he's not a top-line forward. Instead, he could be a solid contributor to the middle six. For the Islanders, acquiring a skater that adds depth certainly is an upgrade, but it wouldn't put the offense over the top. Similarly, Anderson has only scored 20 goals or more in one season of his 8-year career, and while he does a lot of things well, he's not going to excel at anything specific in my opinion. And as a result, the Islanders could play him alongside Jean-Gabriel Pageau on the middle forward line and expect a strong contribution, but he would be more of a depth addition in my opinion. So it's possible that the Islanders would make a move for Anderson in addition to other moves, such as signing a player like Johnny Gaudreau. You guys should go check out that video. And if they do get Gaudreau, that would put the forward unit over the top and becoming an offensive juggernaut. However, the move for Anderson wouldn't be a splash, especially considering his ceiling or lack thereof. It's that time of year where speculation is at its highest, of course. At Anderson's trade ahead of the NHL draft, it's no exception. However, the rumors also hint towards a few things about the offseason ahead for Lou Lamoriello. For starters, the trade market for Anderson is limited, but the Islanders have the pieces to acquire him. Additionally, the 13th overall selection might be a reasonable price for the veteran forward, but it also carries significant value in the upcoming draft, especially for the Islanders who could refill their prospect pool with the pick. The Islanders being linked to Anderson also hints at a larger offseason for the team. Yes, he would be a big move, but not one that would allow the team to bounce back next season in Lane Lambert's first year as head coach. Rather, acquiring the veteran forward would be one of the many moves that would be made in a busy offseason, and it would most likely allow the Islanders to possibly make another move afterward. Moreover, if Lamoriello is going to make a move for him, it wouldn't be for a draft selection or a prospect, but instead it would ideally be a 1-for-1 type of deal, allowing two players to thrive in different settings. Islanders fans, Canadiens fans, let me know what you guys think about this deal in the comment section, but otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in and have a wonderful day.